afternoon,
good evening, good whatever time it is that you're tuning in to today's episode. Welcome, karibu, bienvenue to the AYLF podcast.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Beth Anyoro.
And I am Chebaibai, and we're here yet again. It's so interesting, by the way. We should start getting used to,
I feel like we need, now that we are on video, when you know how people start like, yo, what's up? What did it?
Yes, we have established it. We have established it. That's how we are going to be starting off the episodes.
Okay. But yeah, come up on ideas on how
we can make this more interesting.
Yeah, like
an official curtain opener. Open
curtain raise.
Yes.
Neo.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So karibuni sana once again to the AYLF podcast. And today we're just going to kind of dive in, but also going back to the previous episode.
Yeah, just take a minute to recap what we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Which was more or less on mental health, how we stay mentally healthy. Yeah, so what were some of the highlights that you picked from our previous episode?
It's just that question of how are you really?
Yeah.
Like, we talked about how are you? There is how are you? But then again is sasa umeniambia hiyo. No, tell me the truth. How are you really? Yeah. So we will ask that question again to you. How are you really? Yeah. So take a
minute.
Take a second.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that episode, I think you can either press pause on this one and go back and listen to it. Once you listen to this episode till the very end, you can go back and listen to that episode and just let us know in the comment section, how are you really? And also, I think there's a question we had asked on what are some of the ways that you or what are some of the measures you take to stay mentally healthy?
Yeah.
Both during the good days and also during the bad days.
So be sure to let us know, and in the next episode we will be highlighting some of the comments
absolutely
that you've sent in.
Yeah,
because in this world we learn. Every day is a learning day.
Yeah,
so we learn from you, you learn from
us as well,
and tunasonga mbele,
Yeah.
So we'll get right into it.
Yeah.
In our previous episode we talked about how different seasons call for different mental spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want us to dive in and try and understand the different aspects of our lives. There is some of us are students, some of us are young professionals. I want to believe we also have young at heart professionals.
Yeah, because
in our audience, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
We are not mentioning names here. Hi, Gabs.
Oops.
But like these different seasons of our lives.
Yeah.
At times, you're on your first job, or you're on an internship, or you're moving from one house to another, one town to another, a relationship, getting married, getting a child. You know, there are all these transitions in life, and there's no time in life you can't stagnate, but we say that change is the one constant thing. Like hata utake aje,
things will always keep changing,
whether with you or without you. Your environment changes eventually. For instance, if you have become rigid in a particular area of life, and because in that area of life you have your friends, you have your circle, then one by one they start moving on to the next step, to the next season. So at the end of the day utabaki uko like, ala,
kwani ni mat gani sikupanda,
kwani ilikuwa nilimiss turn. So we just want to share with you guys how it has been. We have been in the work industry,
corporate space.
Space. Okay, work.
Yeah, just to say work actually.
I think I've been in the work space professionally for the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Law of deduction. How many subtract?
Let's not go there. And
yeah,
some of the things that I was told never made sense. Some of the things that I was told about work made sense. But the one thing that I think we are not told is how at times work can work.
It can really work.
You know,
and work on you. It can really work on you.
We're serious people. Yeah, you know, or rather, you get to a point in life where work just becomes just another day in your life, and you stop seeing the purpose of it, other than what you say in your podcast that you're not supposed to do. Wake up, work, and pay bills.
Yeah,
you know, it becomes another another thing, you know. Exactly, another thing that you're doing. That you can wake up one day and say, hey, this thing is not working, me, I'm out. Adios. You know, I'm not talking about Gen Zs, but you know, that is one area that I feel I was probably not prepared enough for. And you know, when you talk with your peers and they're like, hey, adulting is a scam, work-life balance doesn't exist. And for me, being the positive
person that you are,
I think I am.
That's good.
I was like, hey, it's possible to balance these things.
And then how did it go?
Oh well,
all these 7 years, what can you say?
Let's just say, kwanza the 7 years, there have been years where God has just told me, where to just chill. Where hii mwaka, there's no going to an 8 to 5. I think from last year May, about till this year July. That's a whole year, actually. God has just told me, you just chill. You think your life is about 8 to 5. You just chill.
Let me show you.
Let me show you what this season looks like. So that's cumulative of even the seasons that have been of rest, of taking time to reflect and plan and strategize for what's next. What do I want to do in my career next? Because I after campus, I didn't have that gap year between
just waiting.
I was those people who I graduated in December, and January 9th I had a job. So I didn't have that period of thinking, where do I want my career to go?
How do you want your career to look like, your career journey?
To be honest, I even didn't have an idea. What I knew was, the one thing that had helped me was I had been advised, whatever you studied in school, out here, you might not actually practice it. That one iliniondolea the... You know that period, you're like, nilisomea this course. Why am I not in this industry?
God, I think we're two totally different people.
And probably it's because what I did was not a practical course as you did. You did journalism.
Like,
I did political science. That's a lot of critical thinking, critical analysis,
which
and all that stuff.
Which could still be applied in other other career paths.
So maybe that's why. But then again, because I did that, and I went into a totally different industry. My first job, that's an episode we'll discuss later on how your first job, the impact that it had and all these things.
Yes, absolutely.
But I remember there's a place I used to work Sunday to Sunday. My off day was only on Tuesday. And I used to wonder
how. So your whole life
Is work, literally.
No, like, no, I'm not saying, because now if we're now to talk about work-life balance, it means if you're working Sunday to Sunday except Tuesday, it means now your life, you have to fix it and fit it on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Like, if it's...
So if I want, it was either if I want to hang out with friends, I'd either, are you available on Tuesday? Definitely.
Who is available on Tuesday?
Exactly.
Most people are working.
People are working on Tuesday. Like Tuesday is when the week is starting.
Yeah.
So it was either on Saturdays you'd push. I don't want to say push the product, but push like your clients to make orders early so that you can leave early. But the other thing with that was you stay late on Saturday, such that on Sunday you'll only come for like an hour to just key in the orders and ensure the orders are clear, all that kind of stuff. So it was either to do that so that Sunday you can come in like at 10 a.m. and by 11 you're out. You understand? But then again, what was that? Like, did I even see people? I remember my parents telling me, hey, because they were concerned, now you'll not be going to church.
Oh, yes, because you're also working on
on Sundays
as well.
So I had to kind of shift churches for that season, where, because our church at that time didn't have a first service, where now on Sundays we'll all leave the house at the same time, 8 a.m. I go for a first service in a different church that starts, be there probably by 8:30, time for prayers, then praise and worship, then by 9:30 I'm out, so that I am able to get to the office by 10. Alternatively, it would have been you get there very early, you get to work very early and leave like by 9. But then again, my clients had to sell the product morning hours. Then they can, at 10, they can settle down and tell you this is the order for tomorrow. You understand? So, Apple, Miss Jui, by the way, I don't know how I survived.
What I'm hearing is that it had to take like a lot of, I don't want to say adaptability, but like, because at this point, I think the 7 years you have worked, like achieving that balance, it's such a delicate dance that there are times you see some of the skills, they will not necessarily be on the same level. Maybe one will be heavier than the other, but somehow you just have to see how you can adapt. Because at the end of the day, you still have to deliver.
Yeah.
If you're still working Sunday to Sunday, even if you don't see, like, it doesn't mean life is gonna stop. Like, even you yourself are a whole functioning system, just as a human being, where it just can't be at you're working all the time and maybe you're not plugging into your family or your friends or your community. So it's just seeing how you can, like in that season, see how you can adapt and move certain things around so that you can still be able to take care of all the other...
For your ecosystem to work well. Because one thing will feed into the other. Because the moment now, for instance, you are in a season where work is a priority.
Yes.
Because in fact, for me that time, it was like your peers have not gotten jobs. Now what are you saying? Why are you complaining?
What is the complaint?
Yes, because
other people are complaining they don't have jobs.
Your peers don't have pressure. Your peers are at home, they're tamarking,
looking for jobs
and all these things. But you're here, you're just like, is this how it's supposed to work? You know? But then again, as you're saying, for the ecosystem to work, I think as much as there's adaptability, which is what we did with COVID, during COVID, and we are still adapting, to be honest. But also is understanding what season is it? What season is it that you're in, for instance, right now? The previous episode, you're saying how you're in a corporate setting and space that is...
And especially for me, especially because now I also have a podcast. And like, Kwanza for me it became so real when we recently celebrated our 1 year anniversary. And now I was like, okay, now it's time for me to take a break, like to just press pause and now like re-strategize and see how the next season of this podcast is gonna be.
Yeah.
And then it was not during that time that work became more overwhelming. Like I took on more responsibilities at work.
Yeah.
Like I didn't quite understand. It's like God was just waiting for me to press pause here so that He can,
accelerator.
And I had intended to take like a month break. It ended up becoming 2 months, And now, even now, in hindsight, just looking back, I'm like, during that time, I needed to have set the foundation for this podcast. I needed to have done this heavy lifting for this 1 year. And especially because when I started the podcast, I think at the time I didn't have a job. I think I was just in between gigs. I was just doing freelancing.
The gig economy.
Yeah, the gig economy. Like but now I have a job. Now I have to balance my work.
Yeah.
I have to balance my other baby, the podcast. And I still have to balance my life in general. Like being with my family, being with my friends. Like for me, I had even set, like my system is that I cannot stay even past 2 weeks without going home to see my mom. So that already, like I still have to somehow fit her. So I think understanding that now, what is the priority? Because for me right now, I feel like my work is my priority at the moment. Yes, I'm in a season where my work is a priority. Like, yes, I have my podcast. That is still a priority, but this priority takes...
It's at like a 90, then the pod is like at a 70.
A 70, exactly. Because I know there are some things that I'm learning in this season that I will...
Very applicable.
I'll apply in like how I run my podcast, how I run my other businesses, or just anything generally. So like understanding that can be very painful. And I think the reason work-life balance, or just balance in general, balancing.
Balance.
Lord.
Balance. Nyashinsky. Balance. No, Savara.
No, I think it's because you discussed on Nyashinsky. That's why it's in your mind. But anyway, sorry to digress. Like, I think one thing that makes just that whole balancing thing different is when you're attached to another. Like, maybe the skills, you're attached, the side that is heavier, you're more attached to the other one. Like, you want, come up for me, for example. I'm more attached to my podcast. Like, I want my podcast to work. But then that's not the season I'm in. I've already laid the foundation for this podcast. I have been creating content for the last 1 year. I believe even right now it's in a place where it can sustain itself. So long as I'm shooting content, by the grace of God, I have someone who's editing. My work would just
growth
to do what? To upload the podcast.
Yeah.
So like right now where I'm at, this is what I need to be focusing on. But sometimes you find you're attached to this other outcome, but then you have to let it go. Which balance then comes in when it comes sacrifice comes in.
Yeah.
Where you're saying, I need to sacrifice this. It doesn't mean you're sacrificing it forever. It means I need to put this on hold for a while. Because this one...
Or even just slow down the speed at which you're going with this one thing for the speed of this other thing to be a bit faster.
Because for me, it got to a point where, like, if I'm not... It even happens still now. If I'm not creating my own content, my work content suffers. Because in as much as this other side is my outlet, it's also an inlet for me where I get inspiration. So that it also speaks to my work. If I'm not inspired at work, that means I'm not productive, I'm not reaching my KPIs, I'm not...
Because at the end of the day, you're the same person.
Exactly.
You're the same person at home, you're the same person at work.
Yeah.
And because at times we want to be a different person at work, to be a different person at home. Yeah. You end up even being a confused person. Yeah. Because someone posed a challenge. I think, I don't know what I was listening or just having a conversation with someone. And they're like, who do people say you are? Do different people in different settings that you're in know you as a different person?
Like a room. They describe the same.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely there are aspects that will be higher in different people, in different settings. Exactly. But at the end of the day, that foundational and underlying, is it your values, is it, you know, like there are those foundational basics will, if we bring 10 people here from different aspects of life within one season, because again different season bring out a different version of you. But in this particular season, for instance, season A, and you bring your family, someone from your family, someone from work, someone from your group friends, someone from your church or your religious setting. If you bring them in one room, what is it that is going to come out at the end of the day? As much as in your religious group, there is what you do. But as an individual, as a person, what does that look like? And I think even as we're trying to demystify, can we find that balance? What is that constant?
You know what? I think you can find that balance. Actually, coming to think about it, I think you can find that balance, but you can't find it alone. You can't. Like, you can't try and take a huge bite of this whole monster. I don't call it okay, but I've already called it a monster. But this huge thing, you can try to take a whole bite out of it. Like, you know, you have work, you have life, you have so many other things going on in your life. You cannot possibly achieve that balance on your own. Because what I was thinking is, sometimes maybe the season you're in is work, but you have other projects or other things you're running on the sidelines. If you decided to delegate and say, okay, Beth, I'd like you to help me do this, or this is the season I'm in, but this still means a lot to me, and I think I need help.
Calling for help.
Yes, calling for help. I feel like you can achieve that balance, but you cannot do it alone. Like, if you have other people who, especially people who believe in what you're trying to achieve, people who believe in where you're headed, because we are, like, I think, I want to say we are privileged. I know I am privileged to be in a space where I have people who believe in my vision and in my values and in where I want to be. So that even in those moments where I need help, see a team, what am I getting out of this? Like, it's easy for them to say, okay, you focus on that. Let me handle this for you. And like, when you understand that, because if, like, for me, when my podcast was not working, it was seeping into my work. And if my work is not working, if I'm getting reprimanded at work, even when I go home, I cannot even fully be present with my family, because I'm thinking, am I going to get fired? Or what am I going to do about this deadline that I never hit? You can never really be present. So you need to see, like, I don't want to, like, you just need to find ways in which you can attain whatever balance, whatever level of balance you need to attain. If it means, like, when you're talking about sacrifice, looking for those tiny pockets of time to maybe either just sit alone in a room and just call a friend. Like us, how we would, like, wake up early in the morning, because
don't tell me about it.
The only time Chebaibai has is between 7 and 8 before her work day begins. So this is the only time that I can take care of this relationship. So just looking for those tiny pockets of time. It requires sacrifice. It requires vulnerability. Oh my word. It requires a lot of vulnerability, because even that calling for help. Like, do you know how hard it is to ask for help? Like, to just say, okay, Beth, man, my podcast is suffering and I'm not delivering at work. Could you help me do this? Or it could even be calling for help to just say, could you just have a cup of coffee so that you can listen to what I'm going through and see if you can maybe add your voice into it. Like, balance can be attained, but you can't do it alone. You cannot. And I think I've always liked saying, no man is an island. Like, you cannot exist by yourself. The fact that you are not even created alone on this planet, like, God didn't create you alone. He created you with other people. It means you have everything you need. Actually, you have everything you need. And the everything you need could be your friend. The everything you need could be just finding time to rest. You know, balance could be achieved if you just decided, this is my time of rest, and knowing how to protect those times.
And as even talking about rest, even God rested.
Yeah.
And at times rest looks different
for different people.
And in different seasons.
Yeah.
You can be in a season where you're having a very intense internship, for instance, or you've just started this new gig, and you feel like, I just want a trip. But the math is not mathing.
Your bank account is like, say that again.
And what you want.
What do you want? Say that again.
Exactly, But then again, it's identifying, okay, how else can I achieve rest?
Yeah.
Is it taking a half day at work and just chilling, or is it on a Saturday going to a nature trail?
Yeah.
Or is it
sleeping?
Is it just sleeping?
Taking a nap.
Taking 2 hours out of a week where you're just doing nothing. You understand? So I wanted to also bring that in because most times when we talk of rest, people are thinking, oh, can we go to Mombasa? Oh, can I? Rest looks different. Is it? Can you? Does your budget allow you to have a staycation for 1,000 bob somewhere within close to where you are? Just changing the scenery.
Yeah.
Of what you're used to.
Actually, it does a lot. That does a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're within the city and it's noisy, it's all these things. Is it taking a mat and going to Limuru?
I've done that before.
Rest looks different in different seasons.
It's so funny you said that. I remember there's one time I just pandered a mat with someone. Like, this person is so adventurous. We were just walking in town. You're like, "Izi mat zinaendanga wapi? Ebu we panda and see." And it was just so, it's just those mini adventures.
Yeah.
You just take a mat, literally. You just have time. You just take a mat. Even the conductor.
A mat for
Matatu.
Our diaspora is public transport.
Yeah, so you just take a mat and you don't even the conductor was like, "Amushuki, you're not alighting." You're like, "No, it was just a cafe."
Tumefika mwisho, turudi.
Now we're waiting now for guys to
panda
the mat to rudi back to. And you see, for that, honestly, it could even just be something as simple as that. Something else. It doesn't even have to be something so complicated. But I think balance and just attaining that optimum thing, you just have to find pockets of time.
Yeah. And intentional. Do it intentionally. Because this life, I think we are made to, I don't want to say we are wired, but our environments tell us you have to be doing something.
Yeah.
You have to be working. Let
me tell you, in the previous episode, we talked about how people introduce themselves. And automatically, all people talk about is
default is work.
This is what I do. Today, I was seated on a round table, and we had a young man there, and he was asked to introduce himself and talk about...
It's the way you're saying a young man, as if you're old. But anyway.
No, but he's a young man. He's a young man, because he's just graduated, I think. Okay, yeah. So he was saying... I even thought to myself, I haven't had this in a while. He introduced himself. He said, "Oh yeah, I've just graduated. I'm looking for an internship." And then immediately he said, "I like swimming. I like playing. Most of my time I play PlayStation." And I could feel the energy, the energy in the room. People are like, "Kai, Yani, you have the audacity to tell us that you like swimming and playing PlayStation." But you know how refreshing that is.
Because that's not in his CV.
No, exactly. But still, just being in that space where you can own that this is what I do to debrief or to just whatever. Decompress. Yes, thank you. Because most of the time, all we talk about is work. I think I don't want to ever get to a point where that is all I'm known for. Surely I cannot just be
There's more to life than
important.
Yeah.
But there's more to life than it. And just hearing someone saying, even as we wrap up, hearing someone saying that they enjoy swimming and they enjoy, I was just like, wow.
What do you enjoy?
What do I enjoy doing? Actually, it even caused the person who was leading the meeting to ask the other people, so what about you? What do you enjoy doing? Because it just brings a nice, fresh perspective to it. So what we are saying is that balance, it's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
You can achieve it, you cannot achieve it, but I think it's just that being in a space of learning what are your priorities?
Yeah, and what seasons you are in.
What season are you in?
Yeah.
What needs to take more of your time? And then even if maybe this part needs to take more of your time, but you're still attached to the other part, then how do you still take care of that? Do you need to involve a friend?
And delegate.
Yeah, do you need to delegate?
Yeah.
Do you need to just call someone and ask for help? And speaking about that, we have done an episode on vulnerability. If you just remembered, you can go check it out on our Spotify and other podcast listening platforms.
Yeah, so bottom line is, what is your priority?
Yeah.
What are you working toward? And also in all that, what is the direction that God is leading you to? Because it could be, this is the season that I am in, I'm supposed to be working, but what else is you working in that particular organization, or other than the deliverables? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Constantly going back and asking, why am I here? Is it only for the money?
That's a very good question to ask, by the way.
Yeah.
Always, everywhere.
Because it takes you back. It takes you back to the drawing board. Okay.
Why am I here?
So why am I here? Exactly. Yeah. And to say that in those different seasons, in the seasons where you feel like one part of life is you're letting down, you're disappointing in terms of delivering, and most times, by the way, it's the social aspect that suffers.
Yeah. Always.
You know. So it's okay. It's okay, but it's not okay. What is not okay is for you to let it stay like that. Yeah. So after you've identified it, by the way, I've been saying I'll call so and so. I've been saying, so what else am I supposed to do? Or is it saying once in 3 months I will ensure I have maybe reached out to these 2 people, and also understanding why are you guys in that season together? Yeah. Because now if for instance someone is supposed to be your accountability partner, there's no you're going to speak to them after 3 months. No. And having that accountability partner also brings some sense of balance, because this is the person who will ask you, okay, Chebs, you had said you're going to publish an episode this month. What is happening?
They become like your sounding board.
Exactly.
Just a place to...
Yeah. So it's okay to be in that space.
Be gracious to yourself.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it right the first time. I think you won't get it right the second time. I don't know what time you'll get it right. But just be kind to yourself. Be gracious to yourself. And I think that learning and unlearning part is something that will is something that is always constantly moving. So just be open to whatever lessons will come your way.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we aspire to live in our purpose. We aspire to attain the dreams that we have. But also, even as challenges come in, we press on and emerge victorious. So that has been our time with you today. And we just want to say, please share, subscribe,
like this video, turn on the notification button.
subscribe on all podcast listening platforms, and be sure to let us know have you achieved the balance? Or do you think it's a scam?
Do you think it's possible?
Is it possible? You know, let's have this conversation, and let's further it even on our socials. Please tag us when you listen to the podcast. Take a screenshot.
By the way,
tag
actually,
us.
yeah, that would be nice.
And something that, before we forget, is the AY Left Nuggets.
Yo.
So,
Lord, guys, I'm so sorry. I have been slacking on my job. Please be kind to me.
extend grace.
Extend grace to me. Jeez. Yeah, so I left my guests.
What I'd say is prioritize.
Yes, prioritize.
And understand what season you're in. And also what deserves your sacrifice in different areas.
That's nice.
So is know your season, prioritize, and know what which deserves your sacrifice.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Without much further ado, as always, don't forget to follow us on our socials. We've placed all that on the description box. And just engage, connect with us, let us know even what you'd like us to talk more about. And let's keep the conversations going.
Adios.
Bye-bye.